Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, here's updates. As folks might know, I didn't put up any videos last night. Yesterday morning, I woke up not feeling great, but it was one of those things like I'm a little bit sore in my joints, which is unusual, and I had a little bit of a headache, which is unusual. But sometimes we get up and it's just like I'll just move around. I'll get something to drink. And I'll be fine once you get through that. Like if I snore too much, I'll have a sore throat in the morning, that type of thing. I was driving to work, and it's just like, I'm not feeling any better. And I was about halfway to work, and I just decided, you know what? I felt the fever coming on. There's no sense in going to work and getting everybody else sick on this one. I've just traveled from the East Coast, likely picked up something in the airport or on the plane. So I went home, and my wife's like, "You've got COVID." It's like, well, it's possible. So she got a new COVID test because all our kits were expired. So she got a new kit. Took a test, and within seconds, pow, positive test. Was running a bit of a fever all day yesterday. In some ways, some weird ways, it's almost like getting the booster shot. You get the headache and the fever, and you're just not feeling great. About 4 a.m. or so, I took some Advil after a bunch of Tylenol and stuff. And I finally slept without having feverish delirium dreams, which was nice. Went to the doctor this morning. My fever's gone. Other than a cough, a little congestion, I'm fine. I feel fine. Now, obviously, I'm not going anywhere because I've got COVID. I'm infectious. And this is that dangerous part. Oh, I feel fine. I'll go out and do stuff. No, you're going to keep your butt at home. Yesterday Gary and I were going to do a live, and it just wasn't up for it. And even this morning, it's like, am I going to? Yeah, I'll do videos. Michelle said, okay, fine. You lock yourself in that room, and I'm going to put an air purifier in there, which is what's going on in the background right now. But still have COVID. I'm taking not Pavloxid, but there's another drug I'm taking to help with that, but honestly, I feel pretty darn good at this point. In this video, you may hear me sniff or cough. That's just going to happen. If those types of noises really, really bother you, like get you like smacking lips type bothering you, don't watch this video, or don't watch my videos for the next couple of days, because you're just probably going to get triggered and have all sorts of anxiety attacks. Just a trigger warning for you on that. Looking at the news today, there's not a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, do you really want me to throw a tarot card reading on the IT issue, knocking down airplanes and not letting you order Starbucks? And ironically, Southwest is flying fine because it's using Windows 3.1 and Windows 95. 30-year-old software, and it's working great. Windows 95 was a good operating system. I preferred Windows 98 myself, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. So what are we going to read on today? Well, that's a good question. Okay, so I just want to read on the general vibe of the RNC and its impact to undecided voters. The independent voters, the undecided voters, all three of them, women voters, that sort of thing, just to see how the energy impacts them. There's also some great stories going around. Apparently, allegedly, a big muckety-muck on the Grindr app. By the Grindr is a hookup app for gay men. Said that the RNC is like the Super Bowl for Grindr. And apparently the number of anonymous accounts that were created around the time of the RNC in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, or looking for hookups in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, was up a couple 100%. And they'll be deleted soon afterwards because they have to go home to their wives. Oh, the party of family values. Okay, but let's see. How did apparently Trump had a 90-minute speech where he rambled and rambled and rambled. According to Bo, the fifth column, and if you don't have Bo in your daily watching, please do include him. He's amazing. The first 20 minutes was pretty good, and the last 15 minutes was pretty good. That's probably the stuff written by his handlers. Everything in the middle of that 90-minute speech, the other hour, was just the usual grievances. And I was watching something on YouTube. It turned out it looked like it was from CNN on people's opinions of it, and they basically said the same thing. It's like, he rambled, and he talked about the stuff he's been talking about, the 2020 election being stolen, blah, blah, blah. So did he actually make any inroads? Let's find out. Entertainment purposes only. What was Trump's impact on independent and non-committed voters from the RNC? Foundation of the reading is the Four of Coins, keeping things tight close to the vest. It was funny. This speech was being touted as Trump bringing people together, seeking unity. And in the middle, when he went off topic, off script, he couldn't, because that's just not who he is. To me, this is the folks that normally I would say they'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what you're going to do. But you know what? I don't think he did anything to change them. They harbor understandings, beliefs about him and his values. And this is not a card of change and open-mindedness, like, a transformation, if you will. Like if this was the and I'm drawing a blank on the card's name. I'll get it. But anyways, temperance. This is not the temperance card, where it's like, transformation. No, this is like, no, he did nothing to change your mind. He's the same person. You dressed him up. You put lipstick on the pig, but it's still a pig. Cross with the Knight of Wands. Because their opinions haven't changed, they're going to continue to vote the way they think they're going to vote in the elections coming up. Now, for the few GOP watchers on this one, does that seem biased? Sure, it does. And I get it, but Trump's running out of time to convince people that he's for all people. And here's a news alert: he's not. He never has been. His whole campaign from 2016 to present has never been about inclusion, unless inclusion means Christian white males. No, it's about excluding people. There's a difference. Inclusion would mean that you're trying to welcome in all groups, all genders, all sexual orientations, all skin colors, everything. That's not what he does. All religions. Somebody who's inclusive does not have a Muslim ban for traveling into the United States at airports. Just as a simple example of something that was done early on in the Trump administration that he says he's going to reinstate. Now, I would ask you, what threats do we have that would require that? Maybe the president knows. And I even gave him the benefit of the doubt for about 2 seconds before my wife gave me a reality check. And so I just watched. Just literally like this. I watched and waited when he put that first Muslim ban in for the follow-up news conference to give us the information. I'm still waiting 8 years later because there's no reason for it. Racism doesn't need a reason. How did Trump's speech impact others? I don't think it changed them. They're holding on to what their values, their opinions are. He did very little to change their mind that he's made any progress in his belief system. And in the past, they're looking at, this is not a man of integrity. This is a man of very specific beliefs. And if you don't align with those beliefs, you're not part of the team. You're a rhino. You're not part of Team Trump. You're not on the Trump train. Trump's got, only a few months left to grab these people. And I don't think he's doing it. Maybe some of these people voted for him in the past, but they've had their eyes opened wide to him. Current situation. the Ten of Cups. Now, a lot of readers do use this card to represent the Republican Party, and he got the nomination at the RNC. But please note the very, very prominent rainbow on this. My earlier comment about Grindr accounts. For a party that is trying to be inclusive, there sure are a lot of closeted gay males in the Republican Party, or at least amongst the people attending the RNC. The estimates are about 5 to 10% of the men at the RNC are gay. They could be reaching out and allowing these men to lead their authentic lives that they deserve to lead. But it's not safe. That's not inclusivity. People will still weigh their values. You know, you've got the first 20 minutes of the speech and the last 15 minutes of speech versus everything in the middle. Not to mention just beyond speeches, you know, stuff read off of teleprompters and such. I don't think the speech matters. It's his actions that matter. And what has he and the Republican Party accomplished over the last 8 years? And what are their stated goals going forward for this next administration? It's not good, especially if you're familiar with Project 2025. The lesson to be learned is the Knight of Pentacles. Trump was supposed to go forward with a message of his values. And his values apparently involve witch hunts and stolen elections and non-existent voter fraud and a bullet wound to the ear, which remarkably required no stitches. And a big chunk of his ear isn't missing. He should look like a Keebler elf right now. He's supposed to go forward with a new message. And they got the same old message. Outcome is the Three of Coins. I don't think he did much to convince the moderate voters. It's no, you're talking darkness here. You're talking backroom stuff. They might talk amongst themselves, but this is just going to be one of those ballot box things where, you know, does it make a difference in the ballot box? Likely not. It's possible, but likely not. There's not a lot. I'm not seeing a lot of enthusiasm about his speech. Now, given corporate media, and somebody said, David, please don't say mainstream media, it's corporate media at this point, and I think I understand the difference, and I believe I agree with that, hence the term. Corporate media, who has been trashing on Biden, holding Biden to different standards, for the large part, wasn't lauding Trump's speech, which I think speaks volumes. Because if you're not doing that, then what you're saying is the speech was kind of and if you go out of your way to applaud it, then you just come across as partisan and unbelievable. And if they don't believe you for that, they're not going to believe you on other stuff. So they have to really play a game of knowing when to pull out their influence campaign, which right now appears to be what they're doing with getting Joe Biden to step down. And I don't think Trump's speech was so remarkable that they felt like they could really lean into that one and say, look how he's changed. He'll be great for the United States. Not saying it. We shall see. Thank you very much.